Hello, my friend. Back to the studio today, and I have made a lot of progress, although those don't belong here. It will be moved out. But I was thinking, like, what if I kind of turn it this way? Turn the view this way. So there's a little bit less for me to deal with. I can actually just unhook that. And wow, maybe I'm actually more ready than I thought. And my keyboard is here. So anyway, I was playing with that idea, and this morning, I had this thought of, what if I already practiced performing in the ideal way that I'd want to perform? And that's a huge stretch for me right now, because I am a million things can come up, but wait, I don't have my songs all finished, and wait, I don't have my music recorded, and wait, I'm not actually on a stage anywhere, and wait, there's nobody watching live, and there's no sound and light. And so I imagine myself in that environment, and that's what I aspire to get to. Well, one of the facets of what I aspire to get to is performing these songs like live for you guys to hear on a stage. But I am so far away from that, right? And yet there's this exercise that I've done in self-development, and also that has its roots very like spiritual stuff, or like woo-woo stuff, but also on the scientific side. They're merging. Also on the scientific side, there's a lot of data and neuroscience, and even like quantum physics, for those of you who geek out about physics like I do. There's a lot of overlap about the concept of doing things in a way that you imagine yourself doing them in the future, right? I use athlete a lot because my husband's in that sport world, but it's the athlete who closes his eyes and visualizes, let's say, hitting a home run, or scoring the three-pointer at the buzzer to win the championship, and it's like visualizing that moment while you're practicing, and doing it over and over and over and over and over again. So, okay, so scientifically what I guess happens is that our brains make these new neural pathways, these new thought processes. I don't exactly know what they are, but essentially when you believe something or when you do something, the more and more you do it, like the stronger it gets. And so when we do that, when we practice, then when we get to the actual event, then we're like mentally, it's already cemented in our brains that we can do this. So that's one perspective. Another perspective that I've heard that I think is the same concept is talking about, like, how do we get our vibrational frequencies of, like, how do we embody the energy of the person that we want to become, or how do we kind of jump forth faster into that? Like, there's law of attraction ideas too, that once we're that person, then we get attracted to it, or quantum leap into a different timeline. There's just so many ways that I've heard about this concept. But going back to the whole science part of it, if I can now practice and get used to the idea and get used to the actual logistics of what it would take to get myself to that level, then I can already start to become comfortable with it, and my brain, seeing it so many times and doing it so many times, will believe that I will make myself believe that I'm actually capable of doing it. So then I started to think of some really fun stuff, like, ooh, what costumes would I wear on stage, and what songs would I sing, and how would it look, and where would I be performing, and those got me really excited, and I actually focused more on the clothing, which is kind of interesting because I'm into clothing, but more from a sustainable and renewable resource use type of thing. But here my mind went totally something else. Like, what would I wear? What is the persona that I want to be on stage, and what do I want to convey? And do you know what came to mind? Guess. I'll give you two. Well, you can guess as many times as you want. But like this whole royalty feeling, like growing up and watching movies and shows where people were princesses and queens and royals, and I always felt like, oh, I wish I was a royal person. Oh, I wish I was a princess. And I at about age 30 or 35, I'm like, forget this. I am going to pretend I am. And actually, my husband officially is a duke, which makes me a duchess, even though it's like a technicality thing. But yeah, so technically I made that happen too. So I am royal. But I would love to be like embodying that royal elegance where I'm here to serve others, and that, you know, I just have this elegance to me and around me. And my current day-to-day life, like, it's just not practical to dress in the way that I imagine myself dressing, and often I do. Like, when I get dressed up, I have a real, almost like preppy, fancy wardrobe that I've slowly curated for myself. But I really imagine like having these big ball gowns and wearing the tiara and the crown, and I have a tiara that I think was supposed to be for my daughters, but it ended up in my office somehow, which I've worn when I've performed before. So and I can feel it's different. I can feel like, what does it take? What type of energy do I need to be in to get a crowd going, to bring that feeling of, yes, we can do this, and yes, you know, we're in this together, and yes, like, let's love ourselves, and yes, we are enough, and look for the rainbow, and that type of energy. So I might, one of my many long list of things now I might do a video about is like, what if I dressed up? And what if I just practiced the whole concert? And I saw like, okay, my voice, like in one of the last videos, I was like, oh, my voice was doing something. Like, okay, that's what I need to work on to prepare for this next level that I'm going to. Or, you know, what is the piano skills? How much do I need to practice to be able to perform? Or do I even? Maybe this isn't my performance. Maybe I'm not playing piano while I perform. Maybe somebody else is, or maybe it's recorded. Maybe I'm just out there. So how do I know unless I try? How do I know unless I practice it and see how I feel and what jives? So that's a concept Jim Fortin talks about: be, do, have, which is be the person you want to be before you can do the things you want to do and have the things you want to have. I think there's lots of other people who talk about this, but if I can get into that mode, that frequency, that vibration, that mindset, that direction, that visualization of a situation that I'm going to be in, that I see myself in, then like it'll come to me a lot faster than just being something abstract and out there. And I suppose there's NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, different types of techniques that I can use for that too, which I hadn't thought about until I was talking it through with you. So yeah, I was thinking like a black curtain back here, like make it feel like a stage or look like a stage, or not sure, but just a concept I wanted to share about doing that, practicing for that thing that you want to do, and be, and like putting on the hat and putting on the clothes and just jumping into that new version of yourself that you choose to be, and doing it now instead of waiting. Okay, have a nice day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.